Hello, my name is Steve Jaguar.
And I'm Mike Foster, and we got a packed show for you. ChatGPT, of course. We're going to be talking about that and tool timing it up. Snyk scores a bunch of money, and Fortinet has a massive CVE 0 day. Welcome to the show.
Hello. Welcome once again to your cloud native video newsletter for an impatient world. Michael, how's your week been?
Week's been good. Everybody winding down towards the holidays, so it's been nice to catch up on some much needed work. Yeah, this is kind of a cool show. We got a bunch of tools talking security profile operators. You have a friend who released the Pike, so a little Terraform.
We're gonna plug that.
Yeah, we're going to plug that. So we got a bunch of tools. Of course, all the show links are going to be in the description for you to check out. And yeah, next week is going to be our last episode for version 2.0.
The season end of the year.
Yeah, we're going to end the year right. We'll be doing a little summary wrap up with a possible Pike tool time. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
What about you? How's your week been?
I can't even remember. I have a raging hangover. So it's 3 p.m. here and it's still in my head. That's where my head is. Otherwise, my week has been sedate because I had knee surgery on Monday. So I seem to be just trading off different forms of drug abuse. From
You're just trying to equalize the pain across the body.
Yeah. Right? Well, they gave me liquid morphine in the first instance. Then they gave me some 30 milligram codeine. And I'm like, I don't need this. Oh, wait, no, I need this. And then last night I just went with good old-fashioned beer. So,
well, you might not have to do your job now because we got ChatGPT coming in. So you could just get hungover and do all the drugs you want soon.
Great segue.
Yeah, great segue. General news. Here we go. Yes, ChatGPT. We had to talk about it. It's taken up everywhere. It's everywhere.
This is me logged into it, but there's a few different AI things in our story backlog. We want to come back to this, and because I just asked this question just now. What's a good name for a Kubernetes YouTube channel? It did not come back with C9K.
Yeah, I know, and it's obviously not going to come up with any swear words, so can't really do that. Yeah.
No, I think it's garbage in, garbage out.
ChatGPT is definitely rated PG-13. So.
It is totally. And I think, you mentioned like winding down for the holidays. I think you can tell because it seems like everyone's just playing with this.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah. I think people are testing it out to see if their jobs are going to be obsolete. I remember I watched a video where it's a lawyer like, oh, is this going to take up the lawyer jobs? And he just writes in ChatGPT, who gets the couch? And it came back with, I don't have an accurate response for you. Which is
That's
pretty
amazing.
interesting. Yeah. So for context, ChatGPT, one of the best AI bots out there, language processing bots.
It's
It's really, really
open
good.
AI using GPT engine
Mhm.
to just give you answers, and it's pretty amazing. Like, this is the one that I found on Twitter. This guy who's now probably out of a job. Yeah, to write an article about the top 5 security dangers of Kubernetes. It came up with this in less than a minute. I'll be down at the bar, and it's not bad.
Yep. You can tell it's written by a bot. Like, it's missing some human structure to it, but it's definitely very marketing heavy. I feel like it's pulled off of some of the things I've written
Yeah,
in the past.
sure. You're taking credit for the OpenAI's
Well, I
article.
mean, this is just sort of
Nice
the
one.
basic 5 things that you're going to see. Misconfigured containers, right?
Yeah,
Insecure default settings. I don't know. Pretty basic.
it's kind of almost like it went out and found the OWASP Kubernetes top 10 that Jimmy Mester wrote and just went, that'll work. I'll just throw out the first 5. But still, that's pretty cool. I think if you've got a question and you want us to ask it, it's right here. We can just do that throughout the show. Any question?
Put it in the comments. We'll bring it up on Tool Time, and you can ask all its Kubernetes and security questions.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Am I getting paid enough for my job?
Oh, all right. We'll do that
Who's
later.
hiring in cybersecurity? See if it comes up. We'll test it out. There's one more comment in there in the R Kubernetes thread that I stumbled on, and it asked it to write a deployment. Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
AI is the future. The next one.
Oh, yeah. Here.
There you go. If you zoom in, it asked it to, can you translate Docker post file to a K8s job with a PVC named Conda and an ephemeral directory for the SD-cache? And this is the output that it came out. It actually came out with a YAML file.
And it's pretty good.
It's accurate.
Did you go through with a fine-tooth comb?
Yeah. So, I mean, you can look at its output above, and then you look at the example that it wanted. And I mean, if you want like a structured YAML file, it'll be there. You can copy paste it over into VS Code and format it properly, and you'll get something somewhat resembling it. It's going to be inaccurate, but
yeah, I'm guessing this is off limits for the CKA.
Only 2 browsers and only Kubernetes. You can't just go into ChatGPT and do all that stuff. I was having a conversation with a friend, and you know how all of schooling and all that stuff has moved online over the last couple of years? Yeah. I think ChatGPT is going to reverse that trend. I think you're going to start seeing more and more people being able to cheat online and just do it quickly and pretty efficiently. That you're going to start to see teachers specifically move back into, okay, prove your work. It's not just good enough having the answer. You need to show that you've thought about it. Hey, geek. I kind of see that trend reversing a little bit. So that's my theory.
That's your hot take?
Hot take for the day. I'm done. You only got one.
Okay. I'm going to hold back for now.
Yeah, we do have a birthday too that we want to announce.
All right. No, we should have like a sting for that in the future where we play some awful birthday thing. But we do have, where is it? Boom. Hey, we're not going to sing. Don't worry.
Won't torture you.
The Log4j vulnerability is still lurking. There was actually, this is a Wired article, which are usually a little, what do you want to call it? Every person friendly.
Yep.
But yes, no surprise that there is still Log4shell out there being exploited live. But what I found fascinating was down near the bottom. There we go. The downloads from Maven Central hit a shelf where 60% of the downloads were patched and 40% weren't. We're still vulnerable. And then it's fallen to 75-25. So that I was like, oh, really? 25% of the downloads of Log4j are still vulnerable versions? Really? That's
I feel like I might be responsible for probably 3% of those because I continuously download it and update my container with for my demos for Log4shell. So I think there's probably a little bit of that.
That's true. Yeah.
Still, I mean, 75-25 is pretty bad.
Yeah, there's quite a funny one comparison here. Just think how many years it took to get the last 10% off XP.
True.
Okay.
I mean, that's why age in images and age in downloads matters so much, right? It's like the #1 tell. If I look at an image and it's over 120 days, I'm like, there's definitely vulnerabilities in there. No doubt.
Cool. So there we go. Hey, happy birthday, Log4j, Log4shell. Well done being around for an entire year.
Yeah, and then we have something that can help you fix it too.
You pop this in here. This is coming straight out of Kubernetes SIGs. Give us a summary.
Yes. So the summary is this has been a Red Hat project, or has been working on this. A lot of configuring SecOp SE Linux AppArmor has been done at the manifest level or through pod security policies or something like that. But again, it's very, very annoying for the developer to work on these things, right? So it's a lot better to have a central config that you can say, here in this namespace, here's the permission, whether it be AppArmor, SE Linux, whatever you're using in your host operating system for your security controls, configure it using an operator, and then just set that and say, okay, here are the permissions that are there. Then the developer just goes and creates the deployment manifests. It injects that into the manifest. You don't have to worry about it. Ooh. Again, it's just moving that responsibility off the developer so that maybe, the developer only needs to figure out what the basic manifest looks like, and the operators will take the rest. And so you can see the roadmap for what they're doing. Everything in green has been completed. Everything in blue, I think, is in the roadmap, I believe. So these are the things that it can control for the profiles operator. And this is, an open source project. It's going to be, I believe, supported in 4.12 for OpenShift, which is one of the blogs that one of my colleagues are working on. So it came across my desk and I was like, I think this is pretty cool and very, very useful. Especially if you different environments. Like let's say you're using RHEL and then you're using something else in the cloud. It's like operator works on both. So it's got that traditional Red Hat hybrid cloud approach. And that's my pitch for the project. So in 3.0, we come back in the new year. I'll look to give a demo, especially after I play around with it a little bit.
Okay, pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'll grab the next one. I'm not a master in this one, but it was so my colleague James Wolfenden, he is the author of this. He started, I'm going to see how long ago he started working on it, but it was 3 months ago, 4 months ago. What did I say? About 6. So there we go. Around 5 months ago, internally, he said, "Hey, go check this out. I'm running this thing called Pike." It's worth mentioning. James is the second largest contributor of Terraform modules on the world.
Wow.
So
that's crazy.
I did not know that. Well, until he told me. But well done, James. But he eats, sleeps, breathes, bleeds Terraform. And so obviously he found there was a problem. So he wrote something to determine the permissions or policy required for your IAC code. And he seems like it's just going. Like this showed up in like several newsletters. It kept showing up on LinkedIn this week. It's like, I don't know why, but it just suddenly everyone noticed it existed. And it's pretty cool. I thinking I get into it. I'm not that good at Terraform, honestly, but you can see how to use it here. And I think what I'm going to do is, because he does come time to watch the show, is I'm going to get him on the show next week, maybe as a special guest, to say, let's run through a few examples and show how easy this is, and explain the problem, explain the solution, and go through it with us, because that would be pretty cool.
In terms of like the use case for this is a massive time saver, right? Because instead of running, if you're running a Terraform run, it's going to go through start building, and then maybe it gets to a module halfway through, and it's like, oh, you don't have permissions for this, and it might break it. But then the cloud resources are already building from the previous ones, correct?
Yeah.
And so now you run this at the start, you can know exactly what's going to break it before you kick off the build. That's the use case, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
There you go.
And also very good to get a picture of what your permissions are, I think, as well, right? Because if you're running like check off and you're like, okay, all the security things are set up properly, and then you want to go and check it against IAM accounts and permissions, well, then it's kind of more of a complete thing, right?
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's got 219 stars already.
Wow.
It's pretty good. Yeah.
And he doesn't have a marketing any marketing materials either. Just post it on GitHub and people like it.
He knows a lot of people in the Terraform space, but
true. Very true.
There you go. And we're being asked for a link. All the links are, if you're not on YouTube, but if you were, all the links are in the description, but I will put the link in the chat.
Just for you, geek.
Yeah.
Happy Friday.
There you go. Check it out.
All right. Are you ready? Uber's at it again.
All right. Let's go.
Do it. Yes, a
Where's
new
that
data
in the chat?
breach. Another day, another data breach.
Uber hit by new data breach after attack on third-party vendor. Yeah, I was talking about Tectivity. I do not know Tectivity. What do you know what Tectivity does? AWS backup server housed Tectivity code and data files related to Tectivity customers. It sounds like a lot of employee information was released in this one. Like, it blew my mind to see, where is it? 77,000 Uber employees.
Mm-hmm.
I went, what? There's 77,000 Uber employees?
So I think
I guess
maybe they're grouping contractors with employees. I know in California they pass the law to make drivers be employees.
Oh, maybe that's it.
So
So
it's
talking
kind of
all
like
drivers count. Yeah,
that's how it's
that
structuring
adds up
it
then.
in term. Yeah, I mean Windows Active Directory. Obviously, if they're using that for their AD server, you hack it, you're gonna get all that information. I think it's also kind of like it's not affecting all the riders, but when you have such a, let's say, pervasive app that infects every aspect of your life, then something like this has a massive impact. Also, supply chain security, a third-party vendor that hacked first, and then
Yep.
yeah, I mean, I know that certain companies are getting very, very stringent with third-party vendors to the point where it's like extremely hard to onboard anything. But now you know why. It has to go through some rigorous checks.
Yep. Oh yeah, something I didn't mention way back here, I should have mentioned, is that probably no surprise in this Log4j article, Dan Lawrence, he's there
Yeah,
again.
I saw the chain guard. I was going to give a shout out. I was like, I think we give chain guard a shout out every week.
Every single week he's in something that we find. It's like, what? I didn't really look. He's probably mentioned here. So that's, geez, he's everywhere.
Third party supply chain. Where's chain guard?
Yeah, where is he? Come on, you missed that one. Come on, Dan.
I mean, they're doing a good job. It's almost word association at this point. So
yeah.
Yeah.
So this next one you added, this blew my mind.
WTF. I thought it was, I think I'm kind of on the fence about this, but basically in France, there were a couple of high profile breaches. And then there was a point basically where the security team, the IT team, wasn't updating the software for the users, the employees that were using the machines, and they got hacked. And so basically what they're saying is, well, your job is to make sure everything's updated. Like, that is the security person's job. So what were you doing? Were you sitting behind the wheel, not doing anything, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, they went after them, and they're facing several years for not updating the software. There it is. The Albanian IT officials abuse of post, which carries blah, blah, blah. And oh, sorry, it wasn't France, it was Albania.
Albania.
And I kind of agree. I feel like there should be some sort of responsibility with your job, especially in security, that, you know, when you take on the role, you have some specific limits to hit. I think the tough thing is like, those limits need to be set appropriately, right? Like, if I take a cybersecurity job and they're like, every single laptop needs to be updated within 60 days of a new release, it's like, okay, breaking changes. I don't want to be that person, right? So where's the middle ground? I think not updating something for years, I think that's past middle ground. Right?
Yes.
Okay.
That's wild though. I mean, I think I'd also want to know that if I took this job, jail was a thing.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, you don't want somebody to come in because it's politically convenient to go after cybersecurity people, and it's like, oh, you didn't do your job. It's like, no, hey, we have these standards, and you have to make sure that we hit them. Otherwise, like, raise a flag too, right? Like, I think if you're working for the government and it says, hey, you have to update it within a year, and a year starts coming, and you're like, hey, we need to do something about this, then you should be okay. I think it's good faith, right?
Right.
But yeah, I saw that and I was like, that's crazy. People are going to jail now for software updates.
Wow. I'm never going to do security. Dangerous.
And then this was the other one. I also, like, why don't you just write $1 million as a title?
Because it's precise. Because look, if you go down to the leaderboard, they won very specific amounts of money. So there you go.
Yeah, this happened in
Did
Toronto.
you know this was on? Like,
Pwn2Own Toronto. It's they all get together, and they pick specific softwares, like, because they're in the room together, and so it's like they'll try to hack the Android, they'll try to hack different IoT devices. IoT devices were one of the biggest things. So like Samsung Galaxy was one, but what they look at is the bug bounties as well to determine how much time they want to spend on trying to hack it. right? It's because like if you go and try to hack an iPhone, the bug bounty might be $500,000, but the chances of you doing it is probably pretty low versus something that's an IoT device where the bug bounty is 30,000, right? So they'll do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, pretty cool. They get together for, I think it's like a weekend. It's a couple of days. And yes, 26 teams, 63 hacks, totaling almost $1 million in bug bounties.
That's amazing, right? 63 0 days. Wow. Like in the Samsung Galaxy S22 took a beating.
Yeah. Yeah. And I thought it was just interesting if you go through and you see what they tried to hack and you're like, oh, I have those IoT devices at home, or ooh, like maybe if somebody spends the time to do it, that they probably will find something is interesting.
It's amazing. It kind of takes me back a little bit. When I was at Synopsys, when we acquired the Codenomicon guys, they would eat this stuff up because they would reverse, like they would download the firmware, reverse engineer it on the spot, and then start there. And so then they'd go in at it with, and even then there was, when we used to demonstrate fuzz testing, we always used to Samsung because it was, you could reboot Samsungs from across the room, you know what I mean, using a bad underlying Bluetooth packet that didn't handle a service that didn't exist. So you could go bing and someone's phone would just go boop, gone.
Oh yeah, I remember you doing a demo on that, right? I think way back in the day with the Bluetooth hack.
I did, yeah. And it was like, and I thought it was very funny when I turned this on. I'm like, still Samsung.
Oh, that's too funny. Yeah, that was a crazy one though. $1 million. I wonder how they divvy it up. If like the money goes to the team, or as part of the hacking effort, it's kind of like weighted.
Well, there's a team. The third place team is the third place team. Third place team was from NCC. So I think it's like, that's a cybersecurity group. They probably get a team together and go, all right, let's go in as a team and try and
they got a weekend there.
Yeah, and they went in. So I guess the team makes money, and then the team just does whatever they want with it. Although it is kind of funny. One last thing I just want to show you. I'm not sure what kind of number the NCC guys won. They won 787500. That's a weird one.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, spelling mistake.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
that's not a number.
All right. Definitely the WTF section. Get your commas right. Come on. All right. Snyk is raking in. Yeah. Speaking of commas, nice job, Snyk.
Yeah.
Did you see this comment from Geekmasher?
Yeah.
The iPhone.
iPhones with DDoS phones. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that came out like a year ago. I want to say the Wi-Fi characters. If you could screw with them. Yeah, Snyk lowering valuations. Oh my gosh, Snyk's valuation drops to 7.4 billion.
This is not a headline you see very often. Big company gets 196 million and valuation drops. What? How does that work? You can see it here.
It is interesting. Snyk laid off, I think it was 10 or 12% of their workforce earlier this year. I remember us doing a read in that article. So probably, you're looking at burn rate. They cut probably some of their hiring and maybe some marketing jobs, but then, still growing very, very fast. Although look at that amount. That amount is significantly less.
7.4. Actually, yeah, it's a good point. If you look at the scale and then a little bit of a reality check back to 190. I like for Snyk a reality check, just an unfortunate, barely tiny little bump in money, 195 million.
Yeah. I think the other thing too is you're looking around at the market, and if your valuation is too ridiculous, how are you going to sell? If that's the like either that or Snyk's got to go security platform and just say, no, we have to go public and actually try to make money on this, right? After you get through the growth phase. So I think a little bit strategic of putting the valuation that might be within the realm of somebody that wants to buy it.
Yeah,
as well.
Good point.
It's just I would wonder what those board meetings are like. Like, hey, we want to sell within 2 years. Okay, well then we need to do something more practical, right?
Yeah. It's funny, and it's an interesting time as well for Snyk because, like, how old is Snyk as a company? I remember them being around. I definitely remember them being around like 6 years ago or 5-6 years ago. And when a company is getting repeated investment and gets to this valuation, they hit that 7-8 year age.
2015, founded in 2015.
So they're 7 years old. So they're going to start hitting that like all the investors are going to be like getting twitchy at that kind of magic number. So
Yeah.
it'll be curious to see what happens with a lot of companies that are 2015 companies. There's quite a few out there. Alrighty.
Yeah. Bunch of security unicorns. So
shall we move on to your CVE you found?
Yeah, Fortinet. It's cookie time.
Now, what starts with the letter C?
Fortinet.
Yet the SSL-VPN may allow a remote unauthenticated attacker to execute arbitrary code or commands via specifically crafted requests. It is a buffer heap overflow, I believe, or heap-based buffer overflow, sorry. And when used on devices, can cause a device to crash or even allow for remote code execution. It depends on what device it's used against. So they publicly disclosed that you needed to update. I think on November 28th was the day, but they didn't announce that it was a 0 day. They just said, hey, here's a vulnerability we need to update. And then now it's coming out that it was a 0 day attack, that it had actually been used in the wild.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, an Amber advisory was released to customers saying, make sure that you update. So if you use Fortinet for any sort of VPN services, make sure you check this out. It's pretty big.
It's big. That's really, yeah, I guess you're going to fix and then announce, but yeah, you know what I hadn't done? I hadn't scrolled to here. I just looked at it with, oh, it is actively exploited. Wow. That is very cool and unfortunate at the same time.
And Fortinet's pretty common in companies as their VPN authentication software. So it's a pretty big one. I feel like this had security teams scrambling for a bit. I don't know. I was kind of shocked that it didn't get as much news as some of the other ones, but I guess it was kind of a quiet update. They sent it to the customers first, and then like this stuff slowly leaks out, which is fair, right?
Yeah, it is. It's not bad. All right.
ChatGPT
last section.
Yeah, ChatGPT and can I use for tool time? We got a dual tool time for you guys.
Does everybody know what time it is?
Do you want to do both, or do you want me to do chat?
Actually, I'm kind of curious. I just want to show can I use real quick, and then we'll ask it. We'll see like, hey, see if can I use has been kind of written out by ChatGPT.
Oh, so you do yours first, and then we can hit chat. All right.
Okay. Yeah. Let me. I'll share screen. So this has been a project that the people at StackRox worked on as it was a hackathon, and it's called Can I Use? And basically what it is something that you can check against the Kubernetes API to see exactly what fields are needed for something. So you can go and deploy this locally. They've also set this up as a website. So if I click on this, it'll bring me over. Pretty basic website, dark mode. This is a big feature ad. You have dark mode and light mode. It's crazy. Oh my God. But basically, if you go to a deployment, you want to look at the deployment, you can see exactly what fields are available to you. You can see what ones are
Can you make it bigger? It's really small, yeah. There's lots of screen and not a lot of letters I can see. There we go, better.
Yeah, I got the wide screen. So yeah, you can see that you have the versions up the top, 1.7 all the way to 1.24. Although it's gonna get cut off there. Need to fix that, guys. Yeah. Oops. So you can see what was green, what's been deprecated and not used, what is I believe in alpha is yellow, or maybe red is not there and orange is deprecating. Probably. But yeah, so it's
okay.
That's my guess. Is like it's not supported. It's either an alpha, beta, or deprecating. I'm guessing. And probably should have a legend about that though. But yeah, it's pretty basic. You can set it up locally, and I think it's just useful if you want to go through it. Especially for me, the thing I use is for searching for JSON. So I just like go and I'm like, okay, what's the path again? Oh yeah, it's spec.template.volumes.docker or whatever it is, right? So you can look at that and copy and paste instead of going to the YAML and trying to figure out like what the exact JSON is. Sometimes it's kind of annoying, you know. Totally. If anybody has a better way to do that, let me know, because I need to figure out how to do my JSON queries quicker.
Nice.
But yeah, that's pretty. And they did that in like a couple hours. They put this all together in a hackathon. Yeah, and
some
you think
people
about
just like can do that. I don't know.
Yeah,
Not me.
it was explained to me as all they did was they queried the Kubernetes API with admin credentials and just said like pull all of the different manifests, like the API manifests, and then they put it in a database. And then they did that for every single version. So they stood up Kubernetes versions and then just ran it. They automated the whole thing. It's crazy.
Wow. Cool. Just download every version. Wow. Super cool.
Yeah, it's not like anybody's running 1.7 anymore.
No, I would certainly hope not, but there we go. The information is there for you if you are.
Yep. And then now ChatGPT. So what do you want us to ask it? Put it in the chat. Geek, I know you have some burning questions. Is an iPhone going to be hacked in the next year?
Right about that? Let's try it.
Are iPhones hackable?
So let's see how long it takes. I think the one I asked above took about 30 seconds to come back because it was kind of vague, I guess. But there we go. Like any other computer. There we go.
Okay. Well, thanks, marketing spin.
Yeah, you can see it probably got this from the Mac OS website or something, or the Apple website. Actually, it's pretty still going.
No device completely hack-proof. iPhone's underneath. Yeah. That's actually pretty good. You know,
that's pretty good.
An example, a caveat included. That's pretty thorough. Hey, what is zero trust?
Hold on. Doing that one first. Oh no! Too many requests in 1 hour.
Whoa!
I didn't know there's a limit.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Have you got it there?
Yeah, I gotta.
Damn, I wasted my last question on who is Michael Foster, hoping it would come back with a hilarious answer.
Hold on, let me format this better so that my screen doesn't blow up. Try one more time, see if you're still throttled.
Okay. It could be because I'm also going to waste it again. Yeah, I'm still throttled. Oh, man, wow, that was only like 2 questions.
Crazy. Well, your tool time. Look at that. This is why you don't do demos live. Can't believe you.
Don't do demos. You've got yours there. We can see a dark mode gives us better answers. And don't say who is Michael Foster because that's something better. What is zero trust? That's a great question.
By the way, for those tuning in that you might have watched last week's episode, did you see FIFA copy strike does? Is that the word for it?
Oh yeah, we didn't get striked.
No, but we did get flagged.
Yeah, our episode got taken down because I held the phone too close to the screen and you
for too long. Yeah,
and we went full screen almost for a moment during the last kick.
There is fair use policy, so you can use clips of things for like 5 to 10 seconds, but you held it for like 27 seconds, and that's what flagged it, which I think was crazy that they were able to see that. Like our little show, and be like, no, you can't do it.
And we got a FIFA warning, so I had to download the original video, black out that scene, but you can still have the audio, you can still hear it, and then I had to put it back. So it's up. It's just it's kind of funny actually because I kind of rewatched the section. You see all the goals, like all the kicks they're all there, and then it's the final one. The screen just goes black and says YouTube said we had to remove this, so you can hear it but you can't see it. So it's kind of maybe it's for the best, right?
Yeah, was a great game though. This is actually a pretty thorough description.
Yeah.
Assumes that all users and devices connected to an organization's network are potentially untrusted and therefore must be continuously verified and authenticated. This approach is based on the idea that it's not possible to trust anyone or anything inside or outside, and that all access to resources should be granted on a least privilege basis. I mean, pretty spot on. Now, can we
That's pretty good.
Can we send this to everybody in the industry whenever they use zero trust?
Can you try something for me here? Because you've got the text. Can you just grab a paragraph? Like grab the middle paragraph and then search it on Google and see if it comes up with an article that has exactly those words. I'd be curious to see how literally it pulls certain.
I don't want to switch tabs because my computer is going to blow up.
Do it on your own. Just do it on your own.
There's nothing.
It's nothing, right?
It made nothing that's even close to holding like a sentence together. Although I feel like Google search, you really need to just pull like 5 words and see if they line up.
Oh, that's probably true. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, people are
That's
talking
good.
that this kind of outdates Google. Like if you could have something like this instead of a Siri or Alexa, ChatGPT, if it can be quick, it's like, why would you? Google pulls search results from pre-scripted things from the internet.
Mhm.
So I think ChatGPT is good for concepts and definitions in terms of learning.
Right.
It's pretty good. Whereas sometimes if I put in like zero trust, I'll get a marketing article from cybersecurity company. It's like, yeah, that's useful, but you're more selling me on the idea. It's not actually defining the concept for me, right? Like this is.
Oh god, yeah. Every vendor in the world has a blog article that says what zero trust is, and then pivots you into buying their product.
Yeah. So that's one of the things I like about this is it's a definition. You can kind of tell the formats there where it's like, here's the definition, here's an example, here's the goal, here's the caveat. It has sort of a structure to it. And I wonder if the model realized that that's the most effective way of communicating a definition. It's like definition, example, caveat, or definition, example, goal, right? There's always like a flow towards the definitions.
Yeah, there is, isn't there?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
All right, what else?
Yeah, one more question.
Does FIFA hate our show?
No. We only have one. I feel like this is like a genie in the lamp. You get three wishes. Don't screw them up because it'll backfire.
What are the security controls in Kubernetes?
Okay, that's cool.
How do I secure my K8s cluster? Yeah, I'll put that one in after. That's a good one.
All right,
I think we had the same idea there, Geek. We're on the same path.
This is just going to come back and say none.
Yeah. And so the way it was explained to me is ChatGPT doesn't actually query the internet based off of like it's pulled from the internet for knowledge, but it actually is there it goes, role-based access control.
Wonder if we're going to get the same 5 that other guy got.
Network segmentation. Wow, this is pulled from StackRock. Pod security policy. Hey, that's outdated. Deprecated. Come on.
That is
ChatGPT, you're better. Encryption of data in transit. Wow, this is pretty good.
Scanning. Oh, it's still going.
Do you think it's going to come up with an SEO number? It's going to be like the 9 ways to secure your Kubernetes cluster and not 10. Oh, there it is, the 7.
It's 7. Yeah, it's a weird number.
Yeah.
Jeez.
That's pretty good.
With the exception of the PSPs, it's pretty good. Yeah.
Right.
Wow. Nice one. See if you get one more question and whether well, that's almost the answer to how do I secure my K8s cluster, isn't it?
Yeah, implement these things. Right. Now, how to implement them obviously is.
All right. Try the how question. See if it blocks you like it did me. Sometimes my VPN, it does weird things, and I get blocked because it thinks I've done multiple requests at something. So that could have been why I got blocked.
Yeah, I think this might this makes marketing jobs a lot easier, but realistically, with Google, you could go and pull a Kubernetes manifest. The knowledge is in knowing how to apply all these concepts and definitions, right? I mean, you go to engineering school, they teach you all the concepts, but like you don't actually practice it in real life. You got to do co-ops. You have to learn how to apply those concepts. So I don't know.
Getting the same answer.
Yeah. And I mean, it's just doing the same thing. It's saying role-based control, and instead it's saying implement it, enable network segmentation, use pod security policies, right? Scan container images. So
manage secret securely.
It has this set. Oh, this is the correct answer to this, and then it just changes the words around a little bit. Okay.
Yeah. Cool.
So not a lot of variance there.
Can you try if you have one more?
Sure.
Can you do something like show me a hello world program written in Rust? See if you can figure that out. That'd be, I mean, that's should be easy, but I'm curious if it can do that.
See, I would have had Stack Overflow answer by now. Come on. Hello, boys.
There we go. Let's put that.
All right, Geek is better than ChatGPT. Oh, request timed out.
There we go. Human wins.
Yeah.
Right. We
That's
could
the
be here
next
all
show.
day.
The next tool time. Geek versus ChatGPT. Go.
Head to head. I like it. Oh. Got it.
Oh,
wasn't quite
wow.
it.
With the caveat. Oh, Geek, you're missing the caveat there. Come on. To compile this program, you'll need to have Rust installed in your system. Wow. That's actually pretty good.
That's pretty good, actually. Call it a tie. Came in
Yeah.
late, but
And then
lots of
it shows you how to
information.
call it too. That's crazy. Wow. All right.
Cool. That's cool.
And look at this too. You copy it directly from in here. They put that
Oh
into
my
the
God.
UI. That's genius.
That is super cool. All right.
All right, this is awesome. We're just
Right, it
doing
works.
tool time with ChatGPT for, hey, ChatGPT, show us open source projects.
All right. Are we gonna do one more? Or you want to call it? Because we could be here. We could be here forever.
Yeah, I think we're calling it. Thanks for watching. I think so. Next week's gonna be the last show. We're gonna do a wrap up of everything. We'd love to hear what you thought were some of the major stories, security stories, things that we missed, big spenders. We're gonna have it all,
Yeah.
and maybe a demonstration of Pike to wrap
Yeah,
up the new
we're
year.
gonna try and get James on the show. So
Yeah,
cool.
and I'll be on vacation, so I'll be drinking some Christmas drinks at 10 a.m. So come join us
I
for the
will
happy
be
hour.
I will also be on holiday, but my time will be more reasonable considering the alcohol involved.
Sounds
All right.
good. Until then, that's Steve Jagger. I'm Mike Foster, and we'll see you next week.